The Secretary will read the report of the Declaration Committee. Mr. Thompson.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect of the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights.
Jefferson, we're back, and we've got Maryland. That is, we will as soon as Chase gets through telling the Maryland Assembly what we saw in New Brunswick.
He's in Annapolis right now, describing a ragtag collection of militiamen who can't train together, drill together, or march together. But when they saw a flock of ducks fly by, they haven't had a meal in 3 days. Merciful heavens, could they shoot together? It was a slaughter.
They're reading the Declaration.
What? Where have they gone?
To render the military independent of and superior to civil power.
Look, there's nothing to fear. It's a masterpiece. I'm to be congratulated.
You?
Yes, for making him write it.
Yes, of course.
It's a masterpiece, I say. They will cheer every word, every letter.
I wish I felt that way.
I believe I can put it better. Now then attend us friend to friend, our Declaration Committee. For us I see immortality in Philadelphia City. A farmer, a lawyer, and a sage, a bit gouty in the leg. That here we are, playing midwives to an egg.
Egg? What egg?
America, the birth of a new nation.
If only we knew what kind of bird it was going to be.
That's the point. What sort of bird should we choose as a symbol of our new nation?
The eagle.
The dove.
The turkey.
The eagle.
The dove.
The eagle.
The eagle.
The turkey.
The eagle is a majestic bird.
The eagle is a scavenger and a thief, a coward, and a symbol of more than 10 centuries of European mischief.
And the turkey?
A truly noble bird, a native of America, sustenance for our early settlers, and an incredibly brave fellow who would think nothing of standing up to an entire regiment of Englishmen single-handedly. Therefore, the national bird of America will be
The eagle!
The eagle.
We're waiting for the chirp, chirp, chirp of an eaglet being born. Waiting for the chirp, chirp, chirp on this humid Monday morning in this congressional incubator.
Heaven knows the temperature's hot enough to hatch a stone, let alone an egg.
We're waiting for the scratch, scratch, scratch of that tiny little fellow. Waiting for the egg to hatch on this humid Monday morning in this congressional incubator. Heaven knows the temperature's hot enough to hatch a stone.
But will it hatch an egg?
It'll be a triumph, I say. A triumph! If I've ever been sure of anything in my entire life, it's this. It will be a triumph. And if it's not, we have 4 days to think of something else. The eagle's going to crack the shell of the egg that England laid. Yes, sir, we can tell on this humid Monday morning in this congressional incubator.
Heaven knows the tongue here has written, though the shell may belong to Great Britain, the eagle inside belongs to us.
And just as Tom here has written, we say to hell with Great Britain, the eagle inside belongs to us.
full power to levy wars, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may have right to. And for the support of this declaration, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Congress has heard the report of the Declaration Committee. Are there any who wish to offer amendments, deletions, or alterations to the Declaration?
Mr. President.
Gentlemen, please. Mistress McNair, you better open the window. Colonel McKean, I saw your hand first.
Tom, now it's a bony paper that you've written, but somewhere in it you've mentioned Scottish and foreign mercenaries sent to destroy us. Scottish, Tom? Excuse me. It's in reference to a Highland regiment that came against us at Boston. You know, those were most likely Germans wearing kilts to disguise their being there. Now, I ask you to remove the word and avoid giving offense to a good people.
Mr. Jefferson?
Mr. President,
The Reverend Witherspoon.
Mr. Jefferson, nowhere do you mention the Supreme Being. Certainly this must be an oversight, for how could we hope to achieve a victory without his help? Therefore, I must humbly suggest the following addition to your final sentence. With the firm reliance on the protection of divine providence.
Mr. Jefferson?
President,
Mr. Reed.
among your charges against the king, Mr. Jefferson, you accuse him of depriving us of the benefits of trial by jury. This is untrue, sir. In Delaware, we have always had trial by jury.
In Massachusetts, we have not.
Oh, then I suggest the words, in many cases, be added.
Really? In many cases? Oh, brilliant. You know, I'm sure every time you see those 3 tiny words, your puny little chest will swell up with pride of a great historical contribution.
It's more memorable than your unprincipled whitewash of that race of barbarians back in Boston.
Mr. Reed, Colonel McKean, that's enough. Mr. Hopkins.
No objections, John. I'm just trying to get a drink.
I should have known. Mistress McNabb, give him a rum.
Mr. President,
Mr. Bartlett.
Mr. Jefferson, I beg you to remember that we still have friends in England. I see no purpose in the phrases unfeeling brethren and enemies in war to be used in this declaration. Our fight is with the King of England, not the British people.
Be sensible, Bartlett. Remove those phrases and the paragraph becomes essentially meaningless. And it just so happens to be one of the most poetic passages in the entire document.
Mr. Adams, we are a Congress, not a literary society. I ask the entire paragraph be stricken.
Mr. Jefferson?
Mr. Jefferson, don't you ever intend to speak up for your own work?
I had intended that the work would speak for itself.
Mr. Hancock,
What is it, Mistress McNair?
I can't say that I'm too fond of the name, the United States of America, as a name for a new country.
Mistress McNair, I don't care what you're fond of. You're not a member of this Congress. Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Jefferson, I notice on at least 2 distinct and direct references to the British Parliament in your declaration. Do you think it wise to alienate that august body in light of our contention that they've never had authority over us anyway?
This is a revolution, damn it! We're going to have to offend somebody.
You're going to have an attack of apoplexy if you're not careful.
Have you heard what they're doing to it, Franklin? Have you heard?
Yes, I've heard.
And
but-
so far, it's only been our friends. Can you imagine what our enemies are going to do to it?
The word parliament will be removed wherever it occurs, Mr. Thompson.
Courage, John. It can't last much longer.
They won't be satisfied until they remove one of the F's in Jefferson's name.
Mr. Dickinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Jefferson, I have very little interest in your paper, as there is no doubt in my mind that we have all but heard the last of it. But I am curious about one thing.
Why do you refer to King George as a tyrant?
Because he is a tyrant.
I remind you, Mr. Jefferson, this tyrant is still your king.
Yes, but when a king becomes a tyrant, he thereby breaks the contract binding his subjects to him
How so?
by taking away their rights.
Rights! That came from him in the first place.
All but one, sir. The right to be free comes from nature.
Mr. Wilson, do we in Pennsylvania consider King George a tyrant?
Well, I don't know. No. No, we do not. He is not a tyrant. In Pennsylvania.
There you are, Mr. Jefferson. Your declaration does not speak for us all. I demand the word tyrant be removed.
Just a moment, Mr. Thompson. The king is a tyrant, whether we say so or not. We might as well say so.
I already scratched it out.
Then scratch it back in.
Put it back, Mr. Thompson. The king will remain a tyrant. Mr. Hughes.
Mr. Jefferson, nowhere do you mention deep sea fishing rights.
Fishing rights! Fishing rights! How long is this piddling to go on? We have been here for 3 days, have endured, by my count, 85 separate changes to the Declaration and the removal of close to 400 words. Would you whip and beat it until it loses all of its spirit? I tell you, this document is a masterful expression of the American mind.
If there are no other changes, the chair assumes.
Look out.
Yes, Mr. Rutledge.
I wonder if we could prevail upon Mr. Thompson to read a small portion of Mr. Jefferson's declaration. The part that begins with, "And he wages cruel war."
Mr. Thompson.
He is infected, he is combined, he is abdicated, he is plundered, constrained, he is excited, he is incited. He's waged cruel war. It is. He has waged cruel war against human nature itself, in the persons of a distant people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery in another hemisphere. He is prostituted.
That will suffice, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Jefferson, I cannot quite make out what it is you're saying now.
Slavery, Mr. Rutledge.
Oh, you're talking about us as slaves of the king.
No, sir. I'm talking about our slaves. Black slaves.
Black slaves. Well, were you trying to hide your meaning, sir?
No, sir.
Just another literary license, then.
If you like.
I don't like it. I don't like it all. To us in the Deep South, black slavery is a cherished way of life.
Nothing is more clearly written in the Book of Fate than that slavery should be abolished.
I'm not concerned with the Book of Fate right now, Mr. Adams. I'm more concerned with what's written in that little paper there.
That little paper there deals with freedom for Americans.
Oh, Mr. Adams is now calling all black slaves Americans. Are they now?
Yes, sir. They are people, and they are here.
They are people.
I don't believe there's any other requirement.
They are here. But they are not people. They are property, sir.
No, sir. They are people being treated as property. I tell you, the rights of human nature are deeply offended by this infamous practice.
Then see to your own wounds, Mr. Jefferson. For you are a practitioner, are you not?
I've already resolved to release my slaves.
And I'm sorry, sir, you have also resolved the ruination of your own personal economy.
Economy. Always economy. There's more to this than a filthy purse string, Rutledge.
It's a stinking business, Mr. Rutledge. A stinking business.
Is it, Mr. Hopkins? Then what is that I smell coming down from the north? Could it be the aroma of hypocrisy? For who holds the other end of that purse string, that filthy purse string, Mr. Adams? Our northern friends are feeling a bit tender towards our slaves. They don't keep slaves, no, but they are willing to be considerable carriers of slaves to others. They are willing for a shilling. Oh, haven't you heard, Mr. Adams? Clink, clink.
molasses to rum to slaves. Oh, what a beautiful waltz. You dance with us, and we dance with you in molasses and rum and slaves. Who sails the ships out of Boston, laden with Bibles and rum? Who drinks a toast to the Ivory Coast? In Africa, slavers have come. New England, with Bibles and rum. Then it's off with the rum and the Bibles. Take on the slaves, clink, clink. And it's hail and farewell to the smell of the African coast. Molasses and rum and slaves. It isn't morals, it's money that saves. Shall we dance to the sound of the profitable pound in molasses and rum and slaves? Who sails the ships out of Guinea, laden with Bibles and slaves? 'Tis Boston can boast to the West Indies coast. Jamaica, we've rum which she craves. Antigua, Barbados, we've rum, Bibles, and slaves. Gentlemen, you mustn't think that our northern friends see our slaves as merely figures on a ledger. Oh no, they see them as figures on a rock. Notice the faces on the walls, gentlemen. White faces, New England faces at the auctions. Put them in the ships. Cram them in the ships. Stuff them in the ships. Let the auction begin. Yo-ho, yo-ho, Macunda. Blackbirds for sale. Black gold. Living gold. Do you hear that, gentlemen? That's the cry of the auctioneer. Yo-ho, yo-ho, Macunda. Blackbirds for sale. Igbo, 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 Ashanti. Handle them. Fondle them. But don't figure them. They are prime. They are prime. Yo-ho, yo-ho.
For the love of God, Mr. Rutledge, please.
Molasses to run to slaves who sailed the ships back to Boston, laden with gold, see it gleam, whose fortunes are made in the triangle trade. Hell, slavery, the New England dream. Mr. Adams, I give you a toast. Hail Boston, hail Charleston, who stinketh the most.
Mr. Rutledge! Mr. Hughes! Dr. Hall!
Don't worry, they'll be back.
To vote us down.
Adams, Franklin, I have it. And the Maryland Assembly's approved it after I got done telling them about the greatest military engagement in history against a flock of